I wanted to show you the power of the mask on the jar layer. If you click on the mask and use a round brush, if you use black on the mask, it conceals the image. See where everything is black on that mask conceals the image. If you use white on the mask, it reveals the image. It brings it back. So a mask is like a magic eraser. Let's turn on the label layer by clicking on the eye next to the left of the label on the layer. Click on that label layer. We're going to do a trick. We're going to make that label go inside of the jar. We're going to make a clipping mask. Press the Option key and hover between the label and the jar copy, and you're going to get a little square with a angled arrow, and Option click right between those two layers. And that's going to clip the label inside of the jar. Now, still selecting the label layer, get the magnifying tool and zoom out by pressing the Option key. Option click with the magnifying glass, you'll zoom out. Do a Command T to transform. The label was wider than the canvas area. That's why we needed to zoom out to see that transform area. Press the Option key and then click on one of the corners and drag in to make the label a little bit smaller. Click inside of the label and drag down until you have a little bit of jar on the top, a little bit of jar on the bottom. Let's go a little bit lower. There we go. Once you have it small enough and centered inside of the jar, press Return, double click on the hand tool to bring the document full size inside of Photoshop. Now, it doesn't look real because it's not going with the roundness of the jar. We got to fix that part. So like we did with the original jar layer, we duplicated it. We're going to do that with the label too. Do a Command J to duplicate, and then take that label copy and drag it underneath the label so they're both clipped inside of the jar. Turn off the bottom one and click on the label at the top. So we're going to digitally manipulate this layer, and if we mess up, we have another copy of the label to work with. Let's do an Edit, Transform, Warp. Now this is a fun tool because we can manipulate and push and pull. So on the bottom of the label, I want to click here and drag down. I'm going to click in the middle and drag down a little bit. I'm going to click here and drag down a little bit. I'm going to click here and drag down a little bit. I'm going to drag this up on the right side a little bit and drag up on the left side a little bit. We're starting to get that roundness now on the label. Let's go on the bottom right and drag that up a little bit. Drag this part up, drag this part up. We'll do it on the left side now. We'll drag up, and we'll drag up. It's not going to look perfect, but it's going to look okay. It's going to look passable. What I'm going to do is drag this up tremendously on the right over here, and then do that again over here on the left, because we want to get this on the bottom to look really round compared to the top. In perspective, the bottom is round and our eye is kind of eye level, like right about here on the lid area. And we're underneath the horizon line here, but not as much as we are down here where it's really round. Let's press Return. And if we want, we could make the label smaller because we've kind of distorted it and made it bigger. Do a Command T and do an Option drag to make the label a little bit smaller. Press Return, and then get the Move tool and press the up arrows or down arrows to position the label a little bit better. That's looking pretty good. This lesson will continue in the next video.